James, would you believe it or not? I saw a movie.
Oh yeah. Now here's the deal: is it a recent film?
It is a recent film.
How recent?
In the last couple weeks, at least. In fact, it's probably not even in theaters anymore because I think it was like on a limited run.
Oh, okay.
So this was during my staycation because I didn't have a bedtime on my staycation, so I got to take myself to the movie theaters, and I went and saw Kevin Smith's the 4:30 movie, which didn't play at 4:30. It played at 9 p.m. only.
Yeah, it don't have a lot of good showings for the time of that movie.
Right, which is, I mean, it's really ironic because it's a movie about a movie theater.
True.
And you know, it's like a coming of age story. It's set in the 80s. It was basically like Kevin Smith I can't think of the word. It's Kevin Smith's unofficial. Damn.
What?
That's the word I was forgetting, was unofficial. It's Kevin Smith's unofficial autobiography, like movie or biopic, essentially.
Okay, I got you.
Because, I mean, obviously the kids have different names, but if you know anything about like Kevin Smith's like history and his past and the little mannerisms he had when he was a child that he talks about all the time, like the main character is very much Kevin Smith.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And so it was just like him, like this kid and his friends hanging out at the movies, and it's kind of a love story because he calls up his childhood crush and he asks her on a date to the movies, and then they're like, "Oh, we're gonna go see the 4:30 movie," and that's why it's called the 4:30 movie.
Did they say what the name of the 4:30 movie is?
It was based off a fictional like Sherlock Holmes kind of character called Bucklick, Bucklick.
Okay.
So the whole premise was like this kid and his friends were going to go to the movie theaters, and at 4:30 he was going to meet up with this girl to go on a date, right? And what they do is they go to the movie theaters, they buy a ticket to like the first showing, and then they just kind of like movie hop the rest of the day. That was the plan anyway. So the first movie they saw was like a movie called Astro Blaster, and it was basically like a parody of Flash Gordon.
Oh, okay, I got you.
And they show clips of the movie, and they would, I guess, like Kevin Smith and them, like they made these like fake movie trailers, and they made these like fake movie scenes to coincide with the movies that they're watching.
That's funny.
Yeah, and they were really cheesily shot and made too. It was very funny. Like they had a trailer, a fake trailer for a nun that becomes a hooker to save the orphanage.
Oh boy!
It was called Sister Sugar Walls.
Wow. Okay.
And like Kevin Smith's daughter played the nun, which was funny.
Oh, really? All right.
Yeah. And it was like, that was one of the trailers. And they did like another trailer that was a spoof of those slasher movies that are like, this movie's too horrible for us to show you the murder, so we're going to show you what it sounds like. You know, that kind of trailer?
Yeah, I like those type.
Yeah. So they did a spoof trailer for that one. And then they did a spoof trailer for like Gremlins, where it was these little goblins that attacked your butt called booties.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know, very, very like immature potty humor.
Parody movies.
Yeah, okay, exactly.
I got you.
I mean, the movies weren't the main focus of the film. It was just like during one scene when they were in the movie theater watching these trailers. And I thought it was funny that they just like, I don't know, they just made these fake movie trailers. It was nice.
Okay.
And so the movie was really good. I mean, again, overall, it's like a cheesy 80s film. It's kind of a coming of age, like comedy in a way. And some of the jokes hit and some of the jokes don't hit.
As always. It's always going to be like that sometime.
Yeah, and some of it was just real cheesy. They had a bunch of one-liners because, like, you know, it's set in the 80s, so they would make jokes about, like, Star Wars, because back then they only had the original trilogy.
Yep.
And so there was a character who was like, "Oh, Star Wars is lame. Like, you really think they're going to make another trilogy, like a prequel series? You think they're actually going to make a 1, 2, and 3? And then they're going to have a bunch of spin-off shows about, like, Boba Fett and some other characters?"
Oh, like, basically breaking the fourth wall, huh?
Yeah, a little, like, breaking the fourth wall a little bit. Like, there was one of the kids was a fan of some wrestler. I don't know if he's a real wrestler or not, but it was like Major Payne or Major Slaughter or something like that.
Sergeant Slaughter?
Yeah, there you go. Sergeant Slaughter. Yeah, so he was a fan of him. And so like one of the best friends in the movie is constantly giving the main character crap for inviting this girl on a date. And I don't really understand why. Like the whole movie, he was like, "Oh, you invited this girl. She's like a year younger than you and blah, blah, blah. It's gross and stupid." They're like, it's like sophomore in high school, freshman in high school kind of age group, you know?
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's that's just like a very coming of age high school type storyline.
Yeah, so the friend's like, "Oh, you invited this girl, whatever." But also the guy giving the main character crap about it is also making out with girls in the movie theater, and you know, he's like the pretty one of the group. So he's experienced. So it's like, I don't know why you have a problem with your friend, you know, asking a girl on a date, but okay. And I thought it would be kind of a callback to one of Kevin Smith's other films, Chasing Amy.
Ah, I do remember that movie.
Okay, so Jason Lee.
Never saw it. But
oh, really? It's a good film.
Yeah, I do remember it though.
So Ben Affleck and Jason Lee are the main characters. Ben Affleck is the main dude, and then his best friend in the movie is Jason Lee, and they're like comic book writers. And Jason Lee's character is constantly giving Ben Affleck like crap for trying to date this woman who's a lesbian. And she's not,
boy.
well, I mean, she's not like full on lesbian. It turns out she's like bisexual. But anyway, throughout the whole movie, he's like giving her crap for dating her and stuff like that. And then towards the end of the movie, it's kind of revealed that Jason Lee's character might be a closeted gay man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And there's actually a follow-up on that in the first Jay and Silent Bob movie, because at the end of the first Jay and Silent Bob movie, like all the characters from all of Kevin Smith's films is walking out of the theater after seeing Jay and Silent Bob.
Mm-hmm.
And you see Jason Lee's character from Chasing Amy with another character from Jason Lee, Amy, who is a gay person. And they're like locked in arms. And they have like a little dialogue between them. But basically that's like the follow-up. It's like, oh, actually he was gay. Now he's dating this guy.
Yeah, so you got your answer.
Yeah, it's like a very subtle thing. But back to the 4:30 movie, I thought they were going to do that with this. I thought he was doing that again with this character, and it wasn't that. It's just for whatever reason the guy had a problem with him asking this girl out. But there's a scene in the movie where the I think his name is Bernie. Bernie is the best friend with the problem. So there's a scene where Bernie like meets Sergeant Slaughter, and Sergeant Slaughter, you know, kind of gives him like a little pep talk. And then Sergeant Slaughter makes a joke about Bill Cosby.
Oh, boy.
Because he's like, oh, you know, oh, no, I think Bernie's like, well, Sergeant Slaughter, like, where did you get your inspiration from or whatever? And he's like, oh, Bill Cosby. That guy's America's dad. Nothing. He'll never do any wrong.
Oh, boy.
So it's just like on the nose jokes like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And some of them are funny, and some of them are just like, okay, Kevin, I get it. Like,
Yeah.
Like he has a character. They did a bit where like the main guy's mom. I think the main guy's name's Brian, if I remember right. Yeah, his name's Brian David. So the Brian in the movie, his mom kept calling the movie theater. And back in the 80s, there was like one phone line, and it was like the manager's phone, played by King Jong from the Hangover movies.
I remember.
And so the mom kept calling Brian at the movie theater, and like they kept pulling him out of the theater, and he would talk to his mom, but his mom in the movie was supposed to be like a caricature of Kevin Smith's mother.
Jesus.
So, and again, if you don't know the Kevin Smith lore,
yeah, like I said, I really don't really know the lore.
You wouldn't really pick up on it. But if you know like about his family and like about his history, if you've listened to like the mini podcasts and Q&As like I have, you know what's a hint and what's not. And I don't think it really changes the movie experience. In fact, it probably it makes it feel like more of a self-insert, knowing the things that you know. If you just go in blind and watch the movie, it's just a coming of age movie. But if you're deep in the Kevin Smith like ideology and lore, you're like, okay, this is an unofficial biopic for you.
Well, that's probably why they just had to narrow it down for like 2 showings and stuff like that, because it wasn't a lot of people watching the movie. Because so what theater did you watch it at?
I watched it at the one I used to work at on the Marquee.
Yeah, they didn't have too much good showings for it, so it'll probably do a lot better on streaming.
I think it will. It's just it's a niche audience type movie. All of Kevin Smith's stuff is very niche audience type films, and it's just nice watching his movies because I know like he gets full creative control of them. You know, like he gets to make what he wants to make because that's just what he does.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't make movies with bigger studios. He's I think lately he's been making his movies with Saban Films, which is funny because it's the same people who do Power Rangers.
Yep, sure
and
is.
I know they're already kind of like shady, so there is that side of things to it. But you know, for the most part, he gets to create what he wants to create. And if it's a silly movie about the 80s, it's a silly movie about the 80s. If it's a Jay and Silent Bob movie, it's a Jay and Silent Bob movie. And it's just nice to experience it as a fan, even if it's not the best movie, or even if it's not like completely related to me. Like if I don't fully relate to it, I still enjoy it.
Well, yeah, I mean, the main thing is that you enjoy it, and you know that's the whole point of watching the movies. You know, it doesn't need to be a crowd pleaser every single time you watch a movie, as long as you enjoy it. So that's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I mean, it's a good film. I recommend it. It's a good coming of age, like kind of comedy film. You know,
okay.
It's not on the same raunchy level as like an American Pie would be, which is why it's kind of strange it got an R-rated rating. But they do have like some sexual innuendo, like sex jokes. But it's nothing more than like you would have made as a kid anyway. You know, as a teenager, it's very representative of like teenagers.
Okay, which is a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's not over the top, but it's just right. So go check it out. It's the 4:30 movie. That's all we have for today. Thank you for listening. And if you would like to join the conversation, you can email us at onthegopod2023@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at On The Go with Jacob and James. You can find James on Instagram at
James9794.
You can find me on Instagram at jacobdantone.audio. I'm on the go. James is on the go. We're all on the go.